It's still happy hour with John Gaskins. This round's on me.
He's coming in hot on a hot, steamy summer day. Politics are heating up in Sioux Falls and South Dakota. It's time to go Lalley-gagging with Patrick Lalley, the OG of Sioux Falls and South Dakota political reporters. The knight in shining armor, our editor for Sioux Falls Live. We have a new mayor, I think. Maybe.
Should.
By twice as many votes as last time. 4 out of about 37,000. Christine Erickson in the recount gets 2 more votes to, stretch across the finish line, the photo finish over Jamie Smith.
Yeah.
You just talked to Christine, so we'll get into that like he just talked, like before he came here. Happy hour at the Orion Pub in downtown Sioux Falls, where Patrick Lalley has a Miller Lite being cracked for him the second he cracks open that door 10 feet away. That's how.
Yeah. Well, it's no secret that this is sort of my second office.
Yeah.
I will, not to start on a sad note, but my friend, David Bronco, who is a city councilor and frequent patron of Orion, used to call it my downtown office.
There you go. Well,
so, and of course, unfortunately, David passed away recently. And
last week, yeah. I remember him sitting over there with you. Right. I met him when you guys were hammering out, just chit-chat, shooting the breeze.
And, you know,
a few months ago.
We're a little off track, but I just want to, you know, I haven't had a chance to write this yet, but, you know, he and I would talk about politics, but that was maybe an eighth of what we talked about.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about music and food and movies and TV and parenting and kids sport. I mean, it was, and I miss him. I already miss him.
He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know him that well, but you could sense. I loved the energy.
Yeah.
He didn't feel like a typical polished politician. Not to say he was unpolished, but he just had kind of more of a kid-like,
authentic
energy for life and for that gig compared to most. So cheers.
Sláinte, David.
To David. Yes, another cheers. I've got Coors Light on tap. We have Doeden and Rhoden to talk about. Not a surprise, Toby and Larry are upping the rhetoric. 2 pigs in the pen slinging mud at each other at this point.
It's not going to get any better.
When is the governor election?
28th?
The 28th? So we're looking 2 weeks down the road. 2 weeks?
3. I think it's 3.
Is it?
It's only July. Wait.
We're just like
Today's,
July 13th.
Tomorrow, I think it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. You're right.
Okay. By the way, stopped by Orion yesterday on a Sunday afternoon between 2 softball games in this sweltering summer heat. You had to sit out a bunch of softball games recently around here.
I did. I watched a lot of youth softball.
Oh, my goodness. So, I mean, you got to go inside between these games. We had 2 hours.
Yep.
And we went one place with the team and then took team photos. And then we're like, let's break away. My husband and I, we're on the same team. And I always catch these before the rest of you do.
Yeah,
and we came down here to Orion, a perfect spot, grabbed a quick pizza, a Sonny's pizza, watched a little Twins, and just, you know, felt this is where you watch the world go by a little bit here.
Yeah,
so
it really is. Great. It's an oasis.
Great to be on a literal Monday afternoon happy hour with Patrick. So let's tap into it with the mayor thing.
The mayor thing.
You know, we had the recount.
Yes.
It's like the closest mayoral race ever, history of the world.
And you really, this was according to my friends at the Dakota Scout, I think Joe Sneevy called it one of the closest, like, large vote races in the country. Like, you know, you get a small town, you know, you have 100 voters or whatever, but like 36,000 votes, and it comes down to 4. So it's pretty unusual.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen the posts. I've seen the posts. We talked about this last time where every vote counts. No, you can never say your vote doesn't count anymore. How many people did you meet? How many people do I know that, you know, just kind of were like, either you can't, you literally don't care, or you forgot it was that day, or you didn't want to take the time to go and drive in and physically vote in person, which in the city of Sioux Falls really doesn't take a whole long time. But that just didn't. And I contest, and we don't have to go on this point very much. I want to hear what Christine had to say to you. that I'm sure there's if there are an equal number of people that voted for these folks, there are an equal number of people that would have voted for him or would have voted for her. But still, I think if anything is a testament to your vote counts, maybe go if you're trying to decide to vote or not, go do it.
Yeah,
because your person might actually could make a difference.
I think the whole thing speaks well of our city.
Okay.
The candidates didn't really engage in anything really nasty or underhanded.
No.
There's all kinds of stuff that can be done. But, the fact that you have such a close election, you could say that it's a city divided, just like the country. But I don't buy that. I think there's just a lot of different kinds of people here. And they're not just all one thing or another. There's a lot of different interests and coalitions and interest groups, and it was who had the best message and who did you like, not I hate that person.
Yeah.
And so that was refreshing.
It was.
But I did talk to Christine today, and we talked a little bit about that actually, and just how she's the first woman mayor of the city, and that really wasn't an issue in the campaign. It was not like people were like, you don't want a woman running the joint, do you? Hey.
And she wasn't like,
no.
No.
But it's important to note, she told some stories, I thought, in my interview that you can see already on SiouxFallsLive.com, probably very near this one.
Yeah.
And she told a story about sitting next to talking to a little girl who saw her and said, "Mommy, that's the girl from the postcard. It's the political mailer, right?" And so she talked to her for a little bit. It's a very nice story, and just stuff like that. And it's important to note these things. It's historic in that nature. Christine's going to do just fine. Now, what we don't know is if there's still some recourse for Jamie. He has a press conference tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's Monday as we tape this.
And you had planned on talking to him today, and
I had planned
he
on
held
talking
off
this afternoon, and he just pushed it till tomorrow. So we'll talk to him, and it worked out because I want to talk to him after he says what he's going to do. Yeah. So we'll have that tomorrow.
And your assumption, if not assertion, of what he's going to say tomorrow is what at the press conference?
He's
either going to concede or he's going to say, "I'm still challenging this," right?
Yep. And I suspect that it's the latter. I mean, I suspect they have a plan to either overturn some of those votes, but there's an issue with the mail-in absentee votes.
150 of them, right?
Yeah, something like that, and that came in after that arrived at the auditor's office after the election, after Tuesday, and that's the law. The law says if they arrive after election date, they don't count. So I don't know. I mean, if they have some that they think that they can challenge, I don't know. I mean, you don't need very many, but we'll find out. The key question is whether they can get a judge to issue an injunction to stop Christine from being sworn in on Friday. So you've got to get a judge to agree to stop an election that has been basically certified, recounted, everything. You got to have some pretty good evidence that there's something that can change, right?
Yeah.
And to get a judge to stand in front of the electoral process is pretty tough. I've said this. I can't think of one case, and I'm sure there's something out there. If there's corruption or whatever, I'm sure they exist. So when I say I don't think it's ever happened, that's probably not true. But I don't ever remember a judge saying, "You know what? We're just going to stop this and wait till we can figure it out."
Yeah. Okay.
Even in the 2000 presidential election between George W. Bush and Al Gore, all that stuff that happened, George Bush was inaugurated on January 20th, the day he was supposed to be.
Right. I mean, do we have any idea if Christine is not inaugurated on Friday and a judge does allow more of a challenge or a count of votes, like when the hell we are going to get a mayor and an inauguration? And when Paul TenHaken can finally, I'm sure he's packed up all his things already.
Yeah, that's right.
But can finally, ride off into the sunset because his tenure has already been extended by, a month?
No, I mean, his tenure was extended by the legislature.
Yeah.
So everything's on schedule for Friday.
Yeah.
That would have been the day.
Yeah.
Because of the change in the law, which, as we know, was stupid. So he was extended against his will. I just can't see a judge saying, you just stick around and run the city, even though you're under no obligation to do so.
Yeah.
No legal obligation to do so.
Okay. Right. All right. Any other big takeaways from your chat with Christine today, now that she's, probably, I think that's a good word, probably going to be the mayor on Friday?
She announced her transition team this morning. A bunch of familiar faces and names. Matt Paulson, who's been a supporter of hers, is on there.
He's the market beat guy.
He's the market beat guy.
He has a few bucks.
He's got a few bucks.
Mildly influential in the community.
Alex Jensen, who's been involved with her campaign, is former city councilor. People like that. Jody Schwan, our friend Jody Schwan from Sioux Falls Business, who was the former chief of staff to Dave Munson. Caden Whitman, a Democratic representative from Sioux Falls Central District here. So it's
that's notable.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people on there.
Now, of course, there's been a lot of discussion about partisan, how it shouldn't play a part in city elections, mayoral elections, but they were somewhat against Christine's will, most notably Toby Doeden, the Republican.
Yeah, and I asked her about that today.
Yep. Okay, but to recap, you go ahead and recap it.
No.
I mean, Toby, I think most people watching who are interested know this, but Toby really stuck his nose in the election and railed against a Republican and an independent who were mayoral candidates who did not make the final two-person runoff, who supported Jamie Smith, who is a Democrat, ran for governor as a Democrat against Kristi Noem in 2022, and Doeden, a very Trump-citing Republican, did a very Trump-like thing and just went full scorched earth on how dare a Republican like Greg Jameson, a very moderate Republican in relative terms, and an independent like Joe Batchelor, who's an independent, dare side with a Democrat, and Sioux Falls is going to turn into another Democrat-run hellhole like Minneapolis or Portland. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it is.
Oh, that's a pretty good paraphrase.
And first of all, those cities are not hellholes.
No, I was just in Minneapolis last week.
I was just in San Francisco last weekend.
Yeah.
Do these places have some trouble spots?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
anyway, we're leaping way off the rails in review.
Yeah, we can talk about.
But anyway, Toby, but this is the kind of message that Toby Doeden was sending, and you said last time this could have hurt Christine Erickson.
I know it did.
Anyway, you talked to her about that today, so let's get to that.
Well, she just, she's not going to say yes. She's not going to say yes to that. Yeah, that guy messed me up. There's no way she's going to say that.
Well, she did.
But I said.
Yeah. Sorry.
I say. I understand that, but I know people that switched their votes or made their decision when he got involved.
Right.
They're like, now I'm not voting for her. I was thinking about it, but now I'm not going to do it.
You do know some people.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I have more than one person tell me that.
Well, I mean, look,
maybe there are people who I don't know who said, well, if Toby's with her, I'm going to dump Jamie but I just don't believe that's true.
she had significantly more votes. She was as the top vote getter in the first election than the number 2 Jamie Smith, and that gap literally closed
9 points
to within 4 votes. So I mean, we went from 9 percentage points to 0.00001, and could be a lot of things. I'm sure the endorsements had Toby not railed against the machine, the endorsements probably helped Jamie close the gap.
I will say so. I believe that's to be true.
And then, Toby's thing probably didn't help that anymore. But the other thing that I would think is that, well, of course, I bet you she just wants to be classy about this. She appreciates the votes she got.
Yeah,
But
she's
B,
not gonna do that.
she could be, I'm not saying working for Toby Doeden, but he could be the governor.
Could be.
And she's going to be the mayor of the biggest city. And, well, you got to you have a good relationship, so she's minding her P's and Q's.
At least one of those
do you agree,
people.
Do you agree
know,
with that?
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Okay.
100%. She's not going to say anything like that.
Yeah.
That would be dumb. But I can.
That's why we're doing this.
I can say that it hurt her. I know it did. And because he wasn't doing it for her, he was doing it for himself.
Yes. Of course.
So we'll see. I mean, that race has some time to go here, and we'll figure out what happens. My interest in that is, I'm far more interested in city politics than I am state politics.
Why is that?
It's much more interesting. It's about actually solving problems.
Yeah.
Identifying problems, solving problems, instead of making up problems and then coming up with a solution that fits whatever thing you thought should happen. I mean, they're just creating problems in their own brains so that they can do things that they think I don't understand.
This is what you think is going on in the governor race or any Congress race, Senate race, presidential race in America.
Sure. But I'm talking about the South Dakota legislature and governor.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Sure.
But even on the national level, you're just making up problems. Identify the problem, identify the potential solutions, talk about the solutions, and pick one.
What's an example? I'm playing dumb here, but I'm playing host, which is sometimes means playing dumb. What is an example of making up problems that you've been seeing
in South
on?
Dakota? Property tax.
Yes. That's kind of like
I've talked about that.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum. Go read the coverage.
SiouxFallsLive.com.
And then on the national level, immigration is the best example to me.
Transgenderness.
Well, I mean, that's a made-up problem.
Yeah.
But immigration is a made-up problem. Now, is there a problem with immigration? Yes. There's a policy problem with immigration. Or there always has been changes in the policy. But what is the problem? And not just what Trump has done, or, I mean, Biden did it poorly, and, I mean, you just keep going back and back and back, and it just keeps getting screwed up. And when people of reasonable mind from both sides of the didactic political scene come up with something that seems like a good solution, it goes nowhere. Reasonable solutions go nowhere.
Okay. Well, I guess that's a good transition into the Doden.
Something.
The Doden Rhoden. No, the Doden Rhoden thing. Dodie Rhodey.
Dodie Rhodey.
Dodie Rhodey. Howdy doody.
There's a song in there.
I know.
It's a song parody.
A great country tune that they could play here.
Dodie Rhodey.
If there wasn't a rule and a sign that forbids us from talking politics here at the Orion Pub. But
unless you're on air.
Thomas makes an exception just for us. And fortunately, they're loud enough and having a good time behind us that they can't hear us. And so we're still providing the kind of experience you would expect at a place like the Orion Pub, a friendly neighborhood pub, to get away from the world's problems, including politics. But anyway, we're here. We're doing it. We appreciate it. So those property tax commercials are heating up. And, of course, like any heated political race, we've got differing messages from the candidates. You can't avoid these commercials if you're watching sports or if you're watching any damn thing on YouTube. And so everybody who's watching this has seen the ads. But, it appears to me Toby's just going full throttle. Larry Doden's the worst thing to happen and will be to South Dakota.
What I'm very interested in...
And Larry's just defending himself.
You brought up the ads, right?
Yeah.
I'll be very interested to see how much money Larry's raised since the first round, because he didn't have much, but he needs a lot.
That's crazy that the governor, the incumbent, didn't have much.
Well, people didn't give him much of a chance, but he pulled it off.
Yeah.
He made it. And
yeah.
He's, going to need money to buy all these ads, and I suspect that he has many willing sources at this point.
I'm playing dumb, playing host, playing Larry King here. Do you think those that were spending a lot of money on Dusty Johnson trying to get him elected are now pouring the money into Rhoden?
Some of them.
I would think so.
Some of them.
I would think none of that money's going to Toby Doeden.
I think there are sources available to Larry that were not available to him before that will help him cover any gap of the self-funded Mr. Doeden.
What about the votes? Like, do you think a lot of Dusty's votes are going to go to Larry?
Yes.
Have there been any recent
No.
polls?
No.
Okay.
And I mean, they've done polling.
Well, yeah.
And
let's believe their polling.
Well, it depends on who you. If you're a legitimate political campaign run by professionals, you want the best, most honest polling you can get. We don't ever see that kind of polling. Sometimes they'll try and shoot us high, top level numbers to try and say, "Oh, we're doing great," but you never see
Exactly.
them say we're doing terrible.
Yes.
But what they really want are the crosstabs, and so that the sophistication of polling that candidates have is much more than what you will see more often from a media organization, because they're willing to spend the money to get it because it's very valuable information.
Here's a fun, loaded question for you.
Yes.
The kind great journalists like you hate. But because you're a great journalist, you're going to give a fun answer. What does this race come down to? And I didn't even say the word issue. I could say, what issue does this come down to?
I think we talked about this.
But I could also mean, like, who's going to win? Like, what will make the difference? Go either way. I don't care.
I said, I think after the first round of voting, I don't know what this is about. Like, what is this election about? And I think now it's become about. I think Larry has been able to take back the messaging, right? Which is, Toby Doeden's message was, they're all crooks, right?
Yes.
But I think Larry has been able to take back the message and make it into to reliability, steady hand, reliability.
Yes.
Trusted guy who's good on his word and his handshake. That's his message, and I think he's been effective at that.
I do too. I agree.
Ian Fury, who everybody, who in a lot of journalistic circles is not well liked.
Good, because he was Kristi Noem's main PR person. And she was all about, full throttle, go for the jugular, sling mud, no holds barred.
No, right. Ian is ostensibly Larry's campaign manager. I think that's his title. He's done a great job. Nobody's given Ian enough credit here yet about navigating his way through this. And if they come out on the other side, I will say that that was an exemplary piece of political campaign management.
Yeah. Well, I am just an average Joe watching, being annoyed by commercials, but also still paying attention because I'm...
By the way, I hope Ian watches this and sees how nice I am. I hope he remembers.
Oh, have you...
I have a... See, the thing is that if you're... Not that people didn't have a right to be mad at some point, blah, 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 whatever. But my experience has been, as a reporter, that your relationships with these people in political campaigns are, they're very important. And if you're honest and you're fair, they are honest and they are fair. There's a way to do it. And I've had them go bad on me as well, but there's a way to do it that is productive for everybody in the long term.
Okay.
That's way inside stuff.
Well, that's partly what people come to this for. They want to get the Patrick Lalley inside stuff.
You got to be able to meet in places like this and have conversations that were outside the everything being recorded world.
Yeah, I agree that these Larry Rhoden ads, and I think I saw some before the first election, the first primary, where obviously it was required to have a second primary election. Yes, I think the message is, and Cordell, I'm just going to use Cordell as a test here. Have you seen some of these Larry Rhoden ads here? Sure, you have. Okay. And
Cordell's everyman.
Cordell is an everyman. He's
our
younger.
everyman.
He's in his
reality
20s.
check.
He's not a political junkie, but again, it's inevitable to come across these ads.
Solid dude.
I think Larry has been, Larry and Cordell. I think Larry has been painted as a solid dude.
Yep.
I think the cowboy hat works. You've already said it, but like the steady hand, the steady Eddie. If you're tired of the vitriol, not just from Trump, but from anybody in politics these days, but let's face it, Toby is squarely looking you in the eyes and saying, if you love Trump, you get a load of me here in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no doubt about that. Larry's doing an effective job of going. I'm steady Eddie over here. I've lived in this state. I've done everyman jobs. I'm just a rancher, and he's not acting like I'm just some old dumb guy, but I'm just
guy who likes to weld.
I'm a guy who likes to weld, but I've been around here. I know how state politics work, and you can trust me.
Yep.
Would you agree that that's the message, and has it resonated? Would you agree that that's the message?
I would agree
that's the message. Okay. Yeah, he's not going to speak if it's resonated. I went too far by asking if it's resonated. I think if his goal is to differentiate himself from Toby Doeden and Toby Doeden's style and Toby Doeden's resume,
also, you have to remember who the
it's
audience.
been effective.
You have to remember who the audience is here.
Go ahead, you tell me.
Republicans.
Yes.
Republicans who will go and vote in late July.
Do you think this is okay? Then I'll ask this: do you think this will be about this very thing? And again, there's a Democrat. Dan Allers. Dan Allers.
Waiting in the wings.
We're going to have a general election, and you never know. There have been plenty of amazing upsets, just like in sports, in politics. We should, at least mention there's a Democratic candidate waiting in the wings, and whoever wins this is not automatically governor of South Dakota. But having said that,
straight face.
Just whoever wins this between these two Republicans. Do you think that's somewhat of a referendum on the upcoming national midterms?
B. No.
You know what I'm getting at?
No, I do.
Or is South
but
Dakota
no.
such a unique state? Because to me, it's kind of feeling like, are you a never Trump or not a Trump anymore, or are you very like Trump?
You mean
Trump?
the primary?
When it comes to Doeden versus Rhoden.
No.
Because Rhoden feels like either never Trumpers or not any longer Trumper Republicans. And
you might be onto something a little bit there.
And Doeden feels very much like full speed ahead Trump, which, the polls, his poll numbers are really low, right? And a lot of people are expecting a big midterm election away from Trump, right? But, it's a few months away. So does it feel like the results, or is South Dakota such a unique place that that's not exactly going to be a reflection of the nation?
I don't think so.
What will it say about South Dakota if Larry wins or Toby does? South Dakota Republicans.
I'll be very interested to see how many of them vote.
Okay. Do you think it'll be a low number or a high number?
I'm expecting a pretty low turnout.
That's insane. Do you think that's because a lot of Republicans are going to be okay with whoever it is?
No, I think it's because it's in the late July, and we've never done it before.
There have been a lot of elections already, Cordell says.
We've been just one election after another.
Yeah.
And so I'll be interested to see who votes. A lot of people will be on vacation. You can early vote and all that, but I don't know. I'm not going to predict who will win.
Okay.
But I think Larry has done well for himself since the first round, establishing who he is and why a Republican would want to vote for him.
Okay.
I don't believe that in the end you can win an election without some sort of detail or presenting an understanding of the issues facing the state.
Do you think there's been a lack of detail and a lack of understanding of the issues from Toby?
Yeah. 100%.
Rhetorical question. Okay.
It's now. Will that? I don't think that works, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
I picked Dusty to win without a runoff. So
there you go. Well,
what
I
do
was
I
going to
know?
ask you who you're picking to win. Do you have a pick?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I can't.
Oh, okay.
I just can't make a
gonna
prediction.
be
I've got
Herbst.
nothing to base it on. And clearly, everything that I believed about electoral politics has been upset
Okay.
by the culture.
Here's another question that made me think of you, and in doing this for probably our last show, Lalley-Gagging, before the election.
By the way, you call it Lalley-gagging, kind of confuses it with Lalley cooler, which everybody already thinks I have something. Not everybody.
Well, you're cooler than Lalley cooler.
It was a hoot.
It was a blast. I was there
You were
both
there,
nights.
yeah.
Yes, I was there both nights.
Big crowds, right?
It depends on what you mean by big, but yeah, I mean, they weren't small. I mean, people weren't filling the stands, but they were filling the field.
Good. All right.
So, yeah, I mean, it was very
Successful venture.
Very successful.
Good. Go ahead.
And enjoyable.
Everything's coming up Lalley these days.
I have seen, Doeden has replaced a lot of his signage with Vote Doeden, Save SD.
I haven't seen those.
Oh, man. Have you seen those? Have you seen any of those? Okay, maybe
Have you seen this? Have you heard about
I've
this?
seen them in lawns. I've seen them in front of gas stations.
You know, I'm happy you mentioned lawns because what I have noticed, for instance, I drive around the Tony Tuthill neighborhood of Sioux Falls quite often, and my suburban range out there. I don't see a lot of. I see virtually no Doeden signs.
Okay.
I see some Rhoden signs. Now, where you see them are on, along roadways, big signs that are clearly set up by people. But I'm not seeing that. My old compatriot Dave Kranz used to have a route, and I wish he was still with us, that he would drive before every election and count signs. Didn't matter what election it was. And he would tally up the signs and and make an analysis based on that. And it was pretty accurate.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. I don't know. He would have a tough time finding Doeden Rhoden signs in this weird atmosphere that we're in.
I've seen the signs that say "Vote Doeden, Save SD," and I understand any answer to questions like this is in the eye.
Save us from what?
It's in the. Thank you. Well, you're getting to it. It's in the eye and the brain of the beholder. But do you really feel like South Dakota needs to be saved, and from what? That's what I'm asking.
We got the best life in the world. I don't know why. I mean, we always have things to fight about.
By that, what do you mean?
How could life get any better? I mean, yeah, there are problems. People have challenges. There's poverty and social discord but it's not
and property
it's not
taxes.
We have
like
a good life.
like everywhere else.
We have a good life.
Yes.
I don't like slogans, and I don't like jingoistic approaches to life. I don't like the safest, freest, blah 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 blah, because all that's just putting words together. It's not reality.
Yeah.
But my life's pretty good. Is your life pretty good?
It's all right.
It's not bad.
It's
Could be better.
Pretty nice,
but-
pretty easy place to live.
Yep, it's pretty
Yes.
good. South Dakota, it's
Not
pretty
the
good.
case, that's not the case for everybody, but
It's all right.
but it's probably the case for more people here than a lot of other places.
No, I wouldn't want to live anywhere outside the metro, ever.
That's for another
But-
show. But anyway, I would agree. It doesn't feel like South Dakota needs to be saved because there's nothing to save it from. But I just, I saw that's
weird.
that's what the signs say.
I know.
And so to
That doesn't mean he's going to lose or win.
I
I'm not saying that.
translate that as somewhat of a desperate ploy. But it's well,
that's been his
desperate's
message.
one word, but aggressive is another.
That's been his message
Whether this
the
place
entire
needs to
time.
be saved or not, that's a little bit more aggressive, and it's more of a message than just here's my name, vote for me. So we'll just see if it works.
I would contend, and I would, if if Toby was sitting here next to us, I think he'd agree with us. His life's pretty good. He's got a pretty good life.
Yeah.
He seems like a pretty happy guy.
He
when
does.
you outside of campaign speeches, Seems like a pretty happy guy.
Yeah. Well, therefore, I don't know if you can answer this question or not, because you said there's been a lack of detail. But a Doeden governorship would mean what? What do you think that
I have no
leads
idea.
to? Okay.
I have no idea. Not because, I mean, you've got a legislature that you have to work with.
Yeah.
And if you tell them we're going to get rid of property taxes, first of all, that then means that you have to find money to run schools and local government somewhere else, which ironically would mean a more centralized system of state government and how we run. It would take power away from local people and centralize it in Pierre, which is sort of antithetical to a true conservative message.
Yes, that they kind of want government out of things, right?
Well, and I do too.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want the government in my life. You want the government in your life?
Not really.
See?
So let's circle it back to Christine, because you said things
that's
are
probably good, because Cordell's
going
going to shoot you in a minute.
Things are going to be fine. What are we at? 32. My guess is we're at 32. 32 minutes? 35. I'm getting pretty good at this. Let's try to keep it under 40.
I'm the 15-minute interview guy.
I know you are. But what am I?
But I'm enjoying this, so keep going.
Good. Well, I hope everybody else is too. If they're still listening, they must have.
They must.
Why do you think we're going to be fine with Christine as mayor?
Yeah, of
You
course.
used the
I
word
think we'll be
fine.
fine with either one of them.
I did too. What do you think a Christine mayorship will mean, if that's a word?
I think that she's going to be exactly who you think she is, which is open, a listener for the most part, but in the end will do what she thinks is best in terms of the budget. She's going to be she's going to have to be pretty conservative in terms of what we spend money on, and probably rather loath to get involved in issues of childcare and homelessness and things like that some people probably won't like.
She doesn't want to get into those?
No, I think what she would say is we need to work with our community partners to address the
Taxpayers
problem.
are not going to
not
the bill.
put the taxpayers on the line.
Okay.
Doesn't mean we can't be involved, but it's not going to be a city program.
Yeah, I got you.
I think in general that's where she's going to come down on things, and making sure that we got the cops come when you call them, and the streets are better than average, and that's going to be Christine. I'm sure she'll ruffle some feathers along the way just because of the way she is. She's a very direct human being.
Yeah, she is.
She's not going to make everybody very happy, but she knows that.
Okay, I actually have two more. Two? Time for two more. It's an old Vikings thing. Minnesota Vikings.
How about Chuck Woolery?
2-2. Yes. We'll be back in 2-2. Paul TenHaken, the current mayor, finally, probably done officially on Friday. Number one, back to Doeden Rhoden. I forgot to ask. Thought this is going to be a big thing with our conversation today. How much does his endorsement help Rhoden? Do you think that'll help if it's a close election? Does that endorsement help?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we're in the biggest city in the state. He's been a fairly popular mayor.
Not a big swing, but it's hard to believe there's anybody who's on the fence between those two guys.
Yeah.
But if they are, and they live in the metro, they might take what Paul says to heart.
Yeah.
I think they would. They trust him.
Yeah. And that's...
there's a bunch of people out there who do think he's a Democrat. So, a rhino or whatever. They don't know Paul TenHaken very well.
Right.
So maybe a little bit.
Okay. And the last one would be, since this is actually it, we could do a whole show on this, but we won't. The Paul TenHaken legacy, 2 terms, 8 years as mayor will be. You
can only deal with what comes at you. and you don't know what's going to come at you. So
What came at him? How did he deal with it?
COVID, and property tax caps, and he made mistakes. Clearly, the whole thing with the Delbridge was a mistake, not in terms of getting rid of it, because good riddance. But how that was a teaching moment for public relations, and the whole thing with the mural, I think, was a misstep on his part. I think
really? The parking garage mural?
Yeah, I just think he would have been fine not saying anything. But that's me.
I think it looks. I don't remember what he said, but I like looking at that. To be honest, that's a big deal, whether it's the biggest of deals or not. I walked down from my neighborhood up near McKinnon Park. I walk down or drive down to the Orion Pub or downtown a lot. And if I go down First Avenue, I am looking directly at that mural. And every time I see it, I go, those are some nice colors. That's better than looking at concrete.
Yeah.
Would I think of it at all? Maybe if I knew the history behind that whole, because that's on Huther's tab, right?
Oh, the actual parking ramp.
Yes. Chernobyl at the Falls.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the mural that's on it. They decided to at least, hey, we don't know if we're going to be able to do anything else with this building besides a parking garage, but at least we're going to make it look nice. And that's a very relative and subjective term, but I look at it and go, that was a nice thing that Paul did there.
Right. And if he, in my brain, they got this, the winner of this process. If he would have just said, "Oh, I don't like it, but whatever," it wouldn't have been on his. If people hated it, it wouldn't be his problem.
Yeah.
It's art.
Yes,
it's art.
It's interpretive.
But he sort of made it into his problem, and he tried to solve it, and it just got worse as it went along.
Okay.
And then the sustainability report thing, that just made people mad who were involved with it.
Okay.
I mean, stuff like that. Those were the mistakes he made. There are people who detail these things much more than we need to do here. But
I'm sure you'll write a column.
But his legacy,
yeah,
I think his legacy will be very positive. I think he leaves as a popular mayor.
The city grew naturally, not because of him, but he handled the growth reasonably well. It appeared, and I think he'll have a lot to be proud to look back on. And question 2B is, do we expect to see him? Mike Huther has never emerged in another election. He's maybe thought about it. He's given us all a little bit of a tease, but it hasn't happened in 8 years. What about Paul? Do you think this will be the second? Well, I don't know.
No, I doubt it. But he's still a young man.
He is,
and he's going to go and do, mentoring and leadership or whatever it is that he's going to do, and he'll be a guy who you see, I imagine, and he stays in touch and maintains a profile. And if the nature of the Republican Party were to change, maybe, but not under the current conditions. There's no way. Okay.
All right. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, always a pleasure. I enjoy it.
Do you?
Lalley-gagging is one of the highlights of my occasional week.
Okay.
Occasionally a highlight of my week, I should say.
All right. Well, I would agree with that.
No, thanks.
I need another beer too. Maybe we could go play shake and bake, whatever that's.
Shake a day.
Shake a day. Let's go play shake a day. Have another beer. Appreciate Patrick Lalley, and we'll Lalley-gag again after Doeden or Rhoden finally wins.
Absolutely.
Finally wins the Republican primary. For video producer Cordell Wright, I'm John. Check out Patrick's interview with Christine, the article about Christine, whatever happens with Jamie on Tuesday. Oh, and by the way, Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Days.
Oh, good luck with that.
All at SiouxFallsLive.com.
On Channel 36 over the air, 616 cable.
Cheers.
Bye.
You need anything else, John?
No, I think I'm good, Greg. I think I'm going to tap out.
All right. Have a good night.